Hi, I'm Alex. I'm one of the book bros, and today I'm going to be telling you about Harry Potter and the Wastelands of Time on fanfiction.net by Joe6991. So to tell you a little bit about what happens in Harry Potter and the Wastelands of Time, Harry Potter has been traveling back in time for thousands of years, and this is his last shot. He can no longer travel back in time. So he has to defeat Voldemort for real this time, something he's never been able to do in his thousands of years of time travel. And so he now has to go through this while also dealing with people who haven't changed at all for him, but he's changed quite drastically. My thoughts on Harry Potter and the Wastelands of Time is it's fucking phenomenal and I absolutely love it, okay? This story is so amazing. When I first started reading it, it was a little difficult because I read it a long time ago, and I would actually liken it to Lord of the Rings in its difficulty to read. But I kind of really enjoy that. It gave me lots of depth to really, wrap my mind around and think about. So every time I finished reading it, I'd go away and I'd think about it for a little bit. And I really like that aspect of this. It's also a time travel story, which is crazy because this one's actually finished and has a sequel. And normally you don't really get that with fan fiction, and especially not with time travels. So I really like that about it. This is also one of the few Harry Potter stories that does a lot of its own independent world building. So it brings Atlantis into it, it brings lots of other mythologies into it. And it's just absolutely mind-blowing because I'm like, I never knew this before, and suddenly I get to experience it through Harry Potter. And that's just absolutely amazing. So how would I rate Harry Potter and the Wastelands of Time? On the plot itself, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. Just the whole plot of him fighting not just against Voldemort, but also his struggle with who he has been in the past and how he now has to deal with this past that no one else really has any experience understanding. So he's got different relationships with the characters that only he really understands, as well as the magic itself, the time travel magic that he's relied upon suddenly failing him. All of that together just makes the plot so interesting. So I'd give that a 5 out of 5 stars. And then the subplot, there's not as many of them. There's one really strong romance subplot that is absolutely amazing, as well as a couple others. So it's got a decent number of subplots, and so I'd give it 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed the subplots, but I don't really want to talk too much about them. The character development, there's definitely a couple characters who get a lot of character development. You could even argue that Harry himself gets a lot of character development, although that's generally sort of dumped on you at the start and been like, hey, this is just a different character now. So I'd give that a 4 out of 5 stars. The writing itself is phenomenal. I'd again liken it to Lord of the Rings. It's 5 out of 5. The editing's on point. It's completely finished, and which is a rare thing in fan fiction. I'd definitely give that a 5 out of 5. The foreshadowing, yeah, there's lots of foreshadowing. It's just constantly foreshadowing things and then fulfilling them, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing how this author manages to do that. He's honestly one of my favorite authors. The only plot holes that you could really be worried about would be the fact that this was written in 2008 and finished in 2010. So I believe that was before all of the Harry Potter books had been written. So there were some things that just never came up, like the Deathly Hallows I don't think are in the story at all. If that would bother you, then that could knock some points off here. But otherwise I'd give it a 4 out of 5, If those do bother you, then I can see it being a 3 out of 5 stars. So my overall rating for this story would be a 4 out of 5, maybe a 4.5, but I'd probably just stick with a 4. And I'd recommend this story to anyone who's interested in the Harry Potter world and what didn't really get shown in the Harry Potter books, because this is a very, very good story. And I would highly recommend it to you. Yo, 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 thanks for watching. If you liked this, thank you. If you didn't like it, I agree. If you have a comment, keep it to yourself. If you don't have a comment, just spew your thoughts down below, Bye.
Always gonna use that one now.
You got distracted. You're a professional!
I'm sorry, I'll do better, sir.